All right, thanks for joining me today, there, ladies and gentlemen. This is LA Entertainment TV, and finishing up my podcast, part 2, on Samantha May Azevedo. It was a great podcast, and sorry for the mishaps. There was a couple of glitches on the second interview with the camera, so excuse me for that. And just finishing it off right now. Great, enlightening, all about love, and she cares a lot about people. So I'll have description provided below after this part 2 video, so check it out. Check her out if you want to be enlightened and to see more positive things in life. She was an ex-competitive fitness, and I admire that, because I know how it is and dedicated to be fit, and to go in extreme dieting and compete on stage, because I've done that for many years as well. For those of you who know me, know who I was back in the day as well. So I had to interview her because she was very interesting about why she chose. She used to be a Catholic, and she chose and put bodybuilding in the back burner, or fitness, or whatever she chose, and she was really good at it. And then she became enlightened about the spirituality of love, and for this interview kind of solidifies what I was asking for, and about her path to this new enlightening spirit of love, compassion, and all that good stuff when it comes to positivity. So check her out. And if you need enlightening diet plans, anything that deals with drug addiction, anxiety, she might help you out. Give her a try. All I know is that she is good. Her spirit is good, and she chose the good path. Alright, so check it out. Check out part 2 in this video, and I'll have part 1 in the links provided below, and go from there. And happy spiritual awakening, and have a great day, and be positive, and spread it around to all the people you love there, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, guys, thanks for watching this podcast, and enjoy the podcast part 2 with Samantha May Azevedo. Bye for now.
Yeah, I had corrective surgery when I was 13, so right before I entered high school.
Right.
I had it corrected. Okay. Yeah.
Did you find your confidence after that? Did you how did that work?
So when I entered high school, I felt like for a lot of, my childhood, I felt like I didn't belong. I felt like the black sheep.
Right.
So once I had, it was hard for me even to look people in the eyes, right? Or look people in the face. Because I'd always look down, because I'd be worried about what they're thinking about my eye. And
right.
So after the surgery, I entered high school, and I just wanted to feel like I belonged. So I was looking for love externally. I was always looking for this love outside of me, right? To feel like I fit in, to feel loved, to feel like I belonged, right? So around the age of, and I was noticing that all these places that I was looking for, that it wasn't there. Like I was constantly searching, always being disappointed, feeling like I was being let down,
Right.
So one thing after another that occurred, and I started to realize, because I started to get into a difficult teenage, where I would rebel a little. I was rebelling, and so I started to realize the path that my life was going on. I wasn't happy with it.
Right.
So it was bringing me back to myself, and what I was realizing is, so I started working out. So I started going to the gym, and I noticed that as I started to do this and started to gain this confidence within myself, this love for myself. So that's what the gym helped me with, for sure. So that was when I was about 17, 18, I started working out. And then that's when it led into competitions and getting on stage, and feeling confident to get up on stage. So that definitely pulled me out of my shyness.
Right.
But a lot of it was to show me the love that I was looking was always within me. right? And when I started to do that, and then later on in my life, I had to do, like I said, I did a bunch of work with internal work to reconnect with myself and let go of stuff that I had been carrying from my childhood, right? And just to see things more from love. So the gym started that process for me. And then I did like emotional clearing work, and had this like life review of my past, where I started to see more from love, things that I had been carrying, or, you know, so that so that my past wasn't defining me, and I wasn't holding on to hurt, wounds, pain, anger, or these feelings of not feeling like I belonged, or feelings that, you know, no one cares, or this person doesn't care. And these things that people hold on to from their past. I had a lot of clearing to do. And as I did it, it was allowed me to see more from love. And it actually allowed me to feel more connected and have greater love for my family and people that I love, and to see more from love and experience more of this in my life, which was beautiful.
Right. So,
yeah. So there was definitely an evolution that occurred within me, but it was always bringing me back to myself. So even when I struggled, because I went through, you know, when I was competing, I went through unhealthy cycles of food, like binging. So I was addicted to, like, you know, binge cycles. So I would even hide from eating certain foods. Like I was a trainer, and I would go to the, you know, grocery store next door, hide all these like junk food, right? Because I was in this unhealthy cycle, because I was constantly feeling like I wasn't good enough, or constantly restrictive, like super restrictive.
Yeah.
So I wasn't giving myself love, because I was being, you know, judging myself, because I was being judged on stage, and then never thinking I was good enough, or always, you know, having this unhealthy cycle within myself and how I viewed myself. So the moment I started to, again, I brought myself back to, okay, I'm going to start to nurture myself. Then, you know, I didn't have these cycles anymore of these unhealthy eating patterns, or binging, or feeling like I needed to hide or shame, or any of these feelings. It was like literally bringing myself back into harmony and bring more love into myself. And then I noticed I didn't have any more cravings. Now, like, it's for me, I nurture myself with such good food, and I don't struggle with food. Like I'm more in harmony. Right. And, you know, I honor myself in other ways, through movement and through the foods I eat. And again, it's just a form of how I feel within myself and how I view myself. And I'm not, you know, judging myself, or being hard on myself, or criticizing myself, or, you know, feeling like I don't belong. All these things that I was carrying, it was a lot of releasing of all of this to allow this greater love to be awakened within me, and to feel this greater sense of love within me and how I show up.
So you really, the past is what created your true path and your passion. Was that your passion as soon as you started feeling that confidence again? At that age, at 18, it's pretty young, and then you're just learning yourself at age 18 and 19.
So yeah, 17, 18, I was still like not comfortable in the gym, just getting used to the equipment. And then I started to, you know, I hired some coaches. I started working out and pushing myself to, you know, for me, it was to build my body at the time.
Right.
But it was a form of love for myself. It was a therapeutic outlet for me at the time, and a form of confidence for me to come out of my shell. Right. But yeah, I had this passion as I started to feel this greater sense of love within myself, and started to transform myself. I started to help others. So I had this passion to want to help others and start to train others and coach others. And, you know, I've helped with a lot of women, or you know, men too, but transformations, and with extreme weight loss, and, you know, people who were struggling within themselves too, again, awaken that love within themselves. And through, you know, through workouts at the time. Now I do it other avenues, but definitely I've always had a passion to, as I awaken this within myself, to want to share this with others.
Right.
And because there's so many people who struggle. So when you see that, it's like, you just want them to understand that it doesn't have to be that way. You can feel this greater sense of love in your life. You can feel this greater sense of love in your relationships. You can feel this greater sense of love, connection, unity with your family, right? It's awakening to this and healing, and how healing this is, right? So this is the awakening that's taking place right now. There's an evolution of love, and that's what's, you know, most people are meant to learn and understand is that we are love, and we're meant to awaken to this greater sense of love, and what we're bringing forward into the world as we awaken this, right? Right.
No, I agree with you. You got it dead on with you, but you're really in deep with your sense of yourself feeling the love within yourself, and I
Yeah.
think you want to teach, and the way you progressed as love as well. I think I kind of see that in you a little bit.
Absolutely, I have. Yeah. So it was interesting. Like back then, it was more the confidence,
Right.
and just realizing that the source of love wasn't external; it was always within me. And when it was found within me, then things around you allows you to feel this greater sense of love. But it's always within, right?
Right.
A lot of people look for love externally, like,
Right.
or they'll feel lonely, or not good enough, or unworthy, and are in relationships that aren't healthy, right? Because they don't realize that love within themselves. Because when we love ourselves, we realize what's possible through love, and we can have greater connections, greater communication, greater relationships, right? Greater ways of the love that we're doing, the love that we put into our work, and what it transfers into each area. So it transfers within ourselves and how we feel within ourselves, how we honor ourselves, how we nurture ourselves, into our relationships and how we communicate, connect, into families, right? And how we share our love with the ones that we love and those that we interact with today, right? And the connections that we form, and how we show up with greater love in the world, right? As we bring this greater love forward into the world, this greater connection to nature and the world that we live with greater love. Like this transfers, and it's like this expansion of love that occurs within you, right? And then as you share it in this divine love and how divinely connected we are, and we start to awaken more to this and how beautiful this is, and to experience this more in our lives, how beautiful this is, right? And the miracle of love and how healing this is, right? So many people are on medication for things, masking things rather than healing. You know what I mean? And, a lot of these medications have side effects. So it's really understanding how healing this is. And there's so many people healing from illness just from awakening this greater love within themselves, and this realization, right, of how divinely connected we are, and how beautiful love is in our life, and how we feel this greater sense of love. And we don't have to struggle through, people struggle with anxiousness or depression or disconnection. And there's so many different things, right?
Right. Exactly.
So that we feel this greater sense of health, well-being, love, connection, and how beautiful that is.
So are you well into connecting with your inner self, and connecting with nature, with life, with people? Is that your way of trying to connect with people who are like lost, or want to find something else and can't really find themselves yet? But once you find the love within you, will that progress to their confidence to do what they want to do? Is that what you're trying to do?
Yeah, absolutely. So as this is awakened within us, and this, again, like I said, it transfers into your relationships, into your work, what you're bringing forward with greater love. So many people are just going through the day like it's mundane. You know what I mean? Because they don't have this greater sense of love for life and for themselves and for the ones that they love, and this greater connection and what's possible through this love, and how we can experience life, right? And the moments that we can share and create together, right? With greater love and gratitude and connection, and realizing this possibility, right? So absolutely. And I'm so happy to, as this is awakened within me, to share this with others, to help them see and experience this in their life, right?
Oh, okay. You're okay. When you got started working out, did you get the bodybuilding bug, or did you see that, hey, maybe I can do that? And did you start loving the sport of bodybuilding and competing, like at that age? Because when I was young, I started loving. Ever since I watched the first Arnold Schwarzenegger, I said, you know what, I'm gonna go up there. And then I saw a buddy of mine competing, and then I saw another buddy of mine competing. I said, fuck it, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do exactly the same thing. So
yeah.
So that was just the competitive side of me, and I said, I'm gonna try it. If I like it, I'll go it. If I don't like it, then I won't. But I loved it. I kept going. How did you do
I
it?
always, for me, it was like I would see the girls on stage, and I would be like, the confidence that they exuded, that's what I felt like I needed within myself. So that's why I felt drawn to it.
Right.
I seen these girls on stage. They were so for me, it was like my heart, my soul felt like that's what I wanted. I wanted to come out of my shell. I wanted to feel that confidence within myself.
Right.
So that's what drew me to it.
Right.
And then and I had such a love as I was doing it. So I know there were so many people who compete who were miserable throughout the whole competition, like throughout the whole prep. For me, when I started, it was like this love for it. It's like I couldn't wait to go to the gym. I couldn't wait to hit a new PR. I couldn't, like, this was the excitement that I felt, right? But then getting on stage, it got to be unhealthy when I started to compare myself, right? So when it got to be like very restrictive, because then I got so focused on winning. I needed to win. I got so focused on wanting to do well, but winning. But I went into these unhealthy cycles of like, okay, comparing myself to other girls, or feeling like I wasn't good enough, or being hard on myself. So it kind of shifted how I felt within myself, which shifted how I felt through the prep, right? And then afterwards, because it was so restrictive too, during my prep, I went through the unhealthy cycles afterwards with, you know, because I was so restrictive, wanting to binge after all these things I couldn't eat. Now I want to eat, right? Because I can't.
Yeah.
Right. But then I felt it would blow up so fast because you were so restrictive, and then the weight would come on so fast. Yeah. So then I started to realize, what was most important for me was nurturing my body. And I got into these cycles where I felt like I needed to work out like 3 hours a day or 2 hours a day. Like I needed to do an hour workout. I needed to do an hour of cardio in order to be fit, or to feel lean, or, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And when I started to nurture myself, it's like the weight just came off. I didn't have any cravings. My body was in harmony. And I had this greater sense of love for myself and for my body and who I was. And I realized, and I stopped working out, right? I started to do yoga, meditation, and I started to realize, you know, hiking, walking, movement through that way, and or home workouts. And I started to realize that I could get the same results, and I was happy with myself without having to work out as much as I thought I needed to. Right. So sometimes these perceptions or these feelings or these beliefs can cause you to feel like you need to be in the gym for 2 hours a day, but you don't. Right. And that's what I had to realize that. And for me now, it's I'm more drawn to like stretching, yoga, feeling light and loose. And, you know, I'm a fascial stretch therapist. So I help people release tension and tightness and pain from their body, so that they feel loose and light and, you know, start feeling good. Right. So I do that through my work. So this is what I practice as well for myself through my movement is I'll walk and I'll do stretching and yoga, and I feel good with that. Okay.
So very interesting. Okay. Yeah. So at that age, 18 to how long did you compete? From 18 to, or what was your age?
So it was on and off for 10 years.
For 10 years. Okay.
So I didn't start competing till like 22, 23.
Okay, 23. Okay.
Yeah. And I stopped about 32.
32. And how far did you get from there to there? Or were you content getting there? Or were you get more competitive? Or were you just starting to lose yourself? Or were you getting addicted to bodybuilding?
I never felt addicted. I actually loved the gym. So I always felt like I loved working out. Right. But when I first started, so my first show, I placed second, and then I went to provincials, placed second, went to nationals and placed fifth. So then that was in BC. The fall, I prepped for a year to go back to nationals. The following year, I think I placed 7. I think I took some time off after that from shows. And then I did another show, couple shows, did a provincial show again, did a regional show, then a provincial show again. And at the time they thought I was too muscular when I went back. Right. So then, I again took a little bit of time off. One show I did, I had, broke my pinky finger. So I was in the middle of prep, and I had this cast from the top of my hand, like my whole forearm. Right. And it was like the claw, it looked like a claw, and I had to stop competing, but I just noticed how miserable I was through that prep. So that happened to me, but really it was like things weren't aligned because of how I felt during the prep. And I was still trying to work out, you know, with this cast on, thinking like, no, I'm going to do it. Like I was so tunnel vision and focused, like, no. But then someone's like, well, like, why are you doing it if you're not enjoying it? And it was like this light bulb went off, and it's like, it's true. Why am I doing this if I'm not enjoying it? Right. So then I did prep. I enjoyed the summer, and then I was done competing. Like I had put in my mind, okay, I'm done. And then I had a client who I had, you know, helped. She had lost, like I said, 150 pounds. She was like over 300 pounds. Now she had dropped less weight, and she just wanted to see me on stage because I had been coaching her and prepping her or helping her. And she wanted to get on stage. So she's like, I want to see you on stage. So I was like, okay.
Got a girl.
Thank you.
And, you know, I had so many girls coming to me who were doing drugs, right? So there were so many of these girls who were doing drugs, thinking that they needed to do drugs, or coming to me wanting to do drugs and asking me, you know, should I do drugs? And I said, you know what, you don't need drugs to do well, right? So I wanted to show them and do the show. So I didn't do it for me. It was more to show them that you could do a show, do well without drugs. So I did the show naturally, and I ended up winning first place at the first one. And then I did both open and natural. So the first, it was 2 weeks back to back. The first show I did open, I won first place. The second show I won first place, and I won overall. So I was able to show her, you know, and to show people like that you can do these and do them naturally, right? Because I would hear these girls who would take drugs.
Okay. No, I'm just like, you definitely got some willpower and passion to go against other competitors who are not natural. Yeah. So to do that is definitely hats off to you there.
Yeah, I felt like I just had this inner feeling like you don't. Oh, not only that, but you would hear like I truly felt in my heart like that was like you don't need it. I want to show them because in their mind there was something saying you needed drugs to do well.
Right.
And you know, some people go to extremes, but then they don't realize the repercussions of those extremes. Right. So they push themselves, and then they might have, you know, side effects afterwards, whether that be binging or from the drugs, they get side effects. So, you know, women's, you know, their voice might change or other things happening with their body because they're putting synthetic drugs into their body. So I wanted to show them that, like, is that worth it just for a show? Like, what's more important? And this is that reconnection with yourself and honoring yourself and that love for yourself. Yeah. Right. And how much is that trophy really worth to you? Is it worth your health? Is it worth your well-being? Is it worth your happiness? You start to realize how you can live with greater, you know, love and joy and connection and happiness in your life. And especially with like the competitions, I found like it took so much of my time, right? That again, it's like a selfish sport. It can be a selfish sport, right? And it's about, you know, how you want to spend your time.
You're absolutely right. It is a selfish sport. It's all about me, and you forget about your significant other or the person you're with. You're like, whoa, and then your whole relationship just falls apart after that.
It can affect many relationships, right? So I think that's an important thing to realize, like what's important in life, right? Is it, right? If you're doing it with, you know, if you're doing it and enjoying it and you have a supportive person with you, but like with you who loves it with you and you guys are connected, but it's realizing like what's important. And for me, I started to realize love was the most important thing. So love within myself, greater love and connection with the ones that I love, greater love and connection in the world and what I'm bringing forward into the world, what I'm sharing, what I'm creating through this love, right? As this was awakened within me and how you experience life, right?
Wow. So how did that work out between you and your partner at the time? Was he competing as well too, or did he train you, or how did that work out? Because if you're too busy with yourself, he must have been going, wait a minute, what about me?
Yeah, you know what? It was interesting because I worked as a trainer. So I worked long hours in the gym.
Yeah.
I would get up at like 4 a.m. to go do cardio, then start training clients at 6 a.m. And then afterwards work out, right? Or on my breaks. So I would get home at night. But he had the same lifestyle. So he worked out. So we would go to the gym together. Okay. So it kind of fit. There was one prep where I wasn't happy. And that was when, you know, it was kind of affecting our relationship at the time during that prep. But then he's like, okay, why are you doing it? And I said, you know what, you're right. I'm not going to do it. And then I made a promise to myself on that last prep. I said, if I'm not enjoying it, then I'm not going to do it. Right. Because I'm choosing this. Right. So why am I going to suffer? And why am I going to make other people suffer around me? If I'm not enjoying it, then why do it? Right. And so for me, it was all about, okay, I'm going to do it, but I'm going to do it and enjoy what I'm doing and bring love into what I'm doing again. And that's what I did with that last show. But yeah, the show was never, you know, there were moments where he felt like, yeah, there's not enough time, but he was so supportive. He was like wanting to coach me and love me prepping. And so that worked out really good.
Okay. So for that span right there, for such a long time. Well, you did tell me 12 years is quite a bit of long years, but when you have a falling out, you got, well, here's why I take it. You fell in love with more about yourself and you wanted more about love. That did you fall out of love with your love but you wanted something
No,
else? That's how does that work out for you? Because when you're at
yeah.
that point, you're like, should I go to the next step with my partner or should I go to the next whatever this leads me to? So
So
obviously there was a
what
different path.
happened, I kind of had this spiritual awakening. So I was, did this inner work, and I was doing all this inner work on myself,
Right.
bringing me back, connected to my heart, connected to my soul. And so during that time, I was going through some difficulties with things as I was releasing. I was going through like a purging and releasing of all these emotional things that I was carrying.
Right.
But he also saw that I was changing. So I had started to become more spiritual. For me, I had to find my path. So I was like going into the religion and like kind of going through this self-searching process.
Right.
But at the time I also had created a program and I was helping people with this inner work as well. So there was things that I was noticing that he wasn't happy. Right. So there was a lot of unhappiness there within himself. And I was trying to get him to do this inner work. And, he wasn't open to it. And I felt like there was a disconnection between us. And for me, I was literally trying to find myself and awaken this greater love within myself. And I didn't feel like he was supportive of that at the time. And that's what I felt at the time. So I was trying to help him, but at the end of the day, he wasn't happy. And I was trying to do all these things to help him. And I felt like it wasn't working. And then I was like, okay, I was thinking about long-term and I felt like, where I was at that time in my life, that we weren't a good fit. So I felt like we had kind of grown apart. Like he wanted me to work out. I wanted to do, I was more into yoga and doing other things. So there was a lot of things that he wasn't happy with. Like changes that were occurring within me and he wasn't supportive of that. So I felt like we had kind of grown apart. And so I felt like at peace with, I just want to see you happy and I want to see me happy. And I had this love for him. Like I always, even when I was like, okay, I feel like it's time for us to part or not, that we shouldn't be together. There was this immense love for him, for just wanting him to be happy and for him to, even if that's not with me, I said, I just want to see you happy. And I see now a lot of people doing this work together where they're coming together and healing together and, reconnecting. I just felt like we weren't at that place and my heart felt like I needed to leave and I was honoring that.
Did you think that you fell out of love of the sport of bodybuilding and the look and then your boyfriend at the time didn't like that because he wanted you to be fit and healthy all the time and look good all the time, kind of like a visual thing?
No, I don't even think it was that. I think it was, he didn't like change and I was changing. So that, I think that change made him uncomfortable. So he was struggling within himself to see me changing and he didn't like it. So there was a lot of like disconnection there. So, there wasn't, and for me, my heart wanted, connection and, being able to communicate from love and understanding. And I wasn't at that place to understand that at the time. Like I was still figuring this out, going through my own journey, and my heart felt called to leave. I felt like, he wasn't ready to accept where I was at the time. You know what I mean? So I felt like we had just this grown apart. And at the end of the day, I said, I just want to see you happy. I had so much love for him to this day. Like I have love and always for him and wish him the most happiness. So there was no, anger within me or anything like that. It was just, wanting him to be happy, wanting me to be happy and me following my heart at the time. And that's what I felt at peace with.
Wow. So that's, it takes definitely a lot of guts considering that long span. And plus you're in the health and fitness, you help other people and you're finding yourself and your greater love within yourself. Was he into that as well when you started more finding about yourself, about what love is and your religion, and you're trying to put
I
meshes
don't think
together?
he understood it. I think it was very confusing for him. It was confusing for me. It was a difficult process. Like my awakening was very, it had moments it was very challenging. So, I could understand why he felt what he felt. And from my perspective, I had seen like all this inner work that I'd done, and, these things that he was still carrying that I wanted him to, do this inner work too and connect to it. Like, but I don't think he was ready for it at the time because there was a lot of resistance there. So I just felt like things happened the way they did. I was ready to like think about, could I have a family? Is this the type of relationship I want to have a family with, right? To start a family with. And at the time I didn't feel, and that's why my heart felt drawn to leave. But there are people who are doing the work together, and I'm seeing what's happening as, people awaken to their hearts, that they're able to connect and reconnect on a deeper level. Yeah. So it is, I just was honoring my heart at the time and where I was on my path.
You're still on your path right now, or are you started feeling more?
Well, I feel like life is always a path, but I'm definitely, I have this greater sense of who I am. So it was this awakening within me. And literally it was like the shedding of these feelings and beliefs and feelings that I was carrying in order for my true self to emerge, right? And this greater sense of who I am, and how divinely connected we are, right? And to God, to life, to spirit, and to realize the beauty of this and the power of this and in our lives, right?
Right. So yeah, I'm just trying to like finding out what thing I got right now. Like this the Zoom thing. Like I don't do a lot of thing on the Zoom there, and it's telling me you only got 10 minutes left. I go, what the heck is all this about? I go,
if it's the free one, you get like 40 minutes and then it kicks you out. So
obviously. So if it kicks me out, let me know, and then I'm gonna have to buy this whatever. But can I rebet? Can I like?
No. So if it kicks you out, just go back in. You can just go back in, and I can go back into the room, and it's fine.
Okay, we'll do that.
Okay. Yeah.
And then I'll buy it, whatever. Like I said, I don't do usually the Zoom thing. I did one Zoom call one time with one of my clients, and it didn't tell me this, and all of a sudden, what the heck's all this going on? But
no worries.
Okay, so if it shuts me out, it says I got another 9 minutes, and if it shuts me out, then we'll reboot and I'll do it again with you. Okay, so but we're such in a deep conversation right now. I don't want to like stop. You know what I mean? So
no worries. If it does, we just like quickly log back in. Yeah.
All right. With that. Okay. Where did you leave off again? You said you were finding yourself, and you said there's a path. And you said there's always a path. So you're still finding your great love.
At the end of the day, it's like awakening to who we truly are, right? And how we live our life, so how we experience life, right? So many people are not happy in life, and it's realizing, what I'm realizing now is, how healing this is.
Right.
So people who are coming to me with, whether it be, emotional stuff or, feeling disconnected or pain in their body, and how healing this awakening is possible. I've seen people who are healing from allergies and illnesses, and people who are disconnected in their relationships, disconnected within themselves, struggle with weight, all of this stuff, and how we can bring ourselves back into harmony and greater health and vibrance and vitality and celebration of life and beautiful moments shared together, and how we spend life and create what we're bringing forward into the world with greater love, and how this, this awakening to what's possible, right? And to see with greater love, clarity, solution, you know what I mean? So it's just a matter of realizing, what we're bringing forward into the world, how we feel within ourselves, this greater love within ourselves, and how we feel and experience life, right?
Are you like taking like the natural homeopathic road, and like like nature's incense, like grassroot, the vegetable, like stuff like that? Like, are you into that stuff or what?
Oh yeah, I do definitely. Like, I love incense and essential oils and that kind of thing. But for me, it's about like what your practices are. So how are you honoring yourself? How are you feeling, right? So it's literally like, for me, nurturing myself with the food that I eat, nurturing myself with the daily practices, whether that be stretching, yoga, time to connect with myself, right? A lot of stuff comes through in terms of what I want to share when I'm connected with myself. So many people are disconnected, right? Whether they're beyond watching TV all the time, or, you know, they go to work, come home, watch TV, go to work, come home, watch TV. And, you know, they don't have that connection to be like, what do I want to share? What do I want to create? Or, you know, being more present with one another, right? Like connection is really important, right? So having more balance in their life. So bringing this love into the work, bringing this love into their relationships, this love and connection within themselves and how they feel within themselves, realizing what's possible, right? And it's this awakening to how we can live life, whether it be like this joy and love and gratitude for life. Do you know what I mean? So many people aren't feeling that, or they're feeling disconnected in some way, right? So it's this awakening that's occurring right now. And I'm happy to, you know, share this because it brings more awareness to people, right?
Right. So have you shared a lot with your clients about your past as well, and how you became to this? You kind of like broke out your shell because you were a shy introvert and then broke out, and then now, hey, let's share the love that I'm experiencing, right? You're kind of
right.
like that, right?
Well, so when I was a personal trainer, then yes, I would share a lot of that with my clients. But for me, it was more seeing them. So, you know, a lot of times they would see themselves in this limited way, right? Whether it was a lack of love or limitation. And I saw beyond that. So I was able to show them what was possible and to see themselves in a new light. So,
right.
Sorry. To see themselves in a new light. So if it was somebody who was overweight, to be able to see them with love and help them to see themselves with love, and not from, you know, the lack or the emotional stuff, right? So I've seen a lot of like amazing transformations in the people that I've helped through this, right? Because now you're like, as you awaken this within yourself, you see differently, and then you see others differently. Do you know what I mean? And you're able to see more from love, and then you're able to see that within them, and even though they're not able to see it within themselves. So this transformation that takes place because of this, right? Which is so amazing to see. So I've helped with like extreme weight loss. You know, there was one lady who before she had knee surgery, she could barely walk. So she wanted to lose the weight. So she lost all this weight so that she could walk better. And she was so happy that she was losing this weight with barely being able to walk and still working out. Right. Mm-hmm. So she was able to see beyond her limitation. Right. Then I've worked with people who suffered from anxiety and depression and who were on medication. So there are people who were, you know, one guy was on for 20 years. He came off depression medication, you know, and, you know, one guy I helped, he was on a small dosage of it. This guy was on a big dosage, but another guy that I helped was on a small dosage of it. He went back to his psychologist, and she's like, you know what? He's like, I'm seeing these results. Like I had done this work with him, this releasing work. And he goes, to his psychologist, and he goes, I'm feeling better. Can I come off of it? Because I said, I've helped other people come off. You can start to wean yourself off. So he went to his psychologist to confirm. She's like, we should up your dosage. I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. Yeah, I'm like, you have no more anxiety. You're feeling better. Yeah. Why would you increase the dosage? Right. Right. So he didn't listen to her. He weaned himself off, and now he's amazing. He hasn't needed his anxiety medication at all. Right. So that's this awakening and this healing that's taking place right now, right? As he released a bunch of stuff that he was carrying, and he awakened this greater love within himself through this process. He had to let go of a lot of stuff. He actually had this one gentleman that I helped. His arm was blue. Like he had like this literally circulation was cut off. Like his hands were blue and purple, and he was having numbness in his hands. Oh. And I said, well, that's really connected to your heart, right? Because your heart is connected when we're talking about energy and stuff, right? So as he released this, it literally, the circulation went back into his hands and the numbness went away, which was amazing to see, huh?
From how did you do that, or how did that happen?
We did some releasing work. So I'd work with him to release a bunch of stuff. Yeah. Oh. That he had been carrying.
Release a lot of negative energy or a lot of
lactic acid? So think about like the emotional stuff that people carry. So they've had bad relationships or had difficulties in their family life, or all of these emotional stuff that people carry, what causes them to feel, you know, this heaviness around their heart, or stress, or, you know, guarded, or, you know what I mean? Not connected to their hearts. right? So this literally allowed him to open up his heart, and he literally noticed the numbness went away in his arm, and the circulation came back in his hand. That was black, blue, and purple. That's what I mean. This is how healing this work is, right? From health issues, and then a lot of times, people are suffering from certain health issues, and again, they go to the doctors, and the doctors just want to mask what they feel. So let's numb you so that you don't feel that, but then you're disconnected to yourself. But we don't realize how healing we are naturally, how naturally we can heal, and it's your body telling you that there's something wrong, right? And how do we reconnect to that, and so that you feel this greater sense of health and bring yourself back into this health, right? And it's a lot of times it's the feelings that people carry or lifestyle things that they're doing that cause them to feel disconnected, and this lack of love and connection within themselves or love for themselves.
Okay, you had a client that was about,
we were talking about that, and the healing that's taking place, whether it be anxiousness, depression, weight. People are struggling with weight, disconnection in relationships, right. People with allergies, healing allergies, and there's a lot that can be done with this awakening. So as people are awakening this greater love within themselves and realizing, how divinely connected we are and our abilities to heal.
Okay, well, you were, how do I put this? You are in tune with your spirituality, right? You're in tune with love, which is greater love, whether you believe in God, spirit, whatever. And your connection and your strength comes from your love from within, right?
Absolutely. And
do you depend on natural healing of the body naturally, or the love, or spirituality, or because that's another realm, isn't it? Don't you think?
Yeah, and I think it was just me awakening to the realization that everything is divine. Like spirit, our essence is the same thing. So we're so divinely connected, right? So the divine connection within ourselves, we're connected to one another. So there's no separation, and it's to see ourselves more through love and connection to nature and energy. All of this is beautiful, and to realize this and awaken more to this, and to feel, you just feel so much more. So I started to, as I connected to my soul, just to feel more, right? So a lot of people don't realize how amazing they can start to feel even just connecting. So connecting to the earth, connecting to the air, connecting to the water in your shower, connecting, being more present with one another, connecting in love, like these beautiful feelings and connections that are so divine, right? As we awaken more to this.
Did you find somebody else that had the same wavelength as you about connection and love, or did you just finding it yourself, or did you search up for it did you on Google?
No.
Or you just went
definitely. I've had some amazing experiences. I've met some amazing souls throughout, and some amazing experiences. Like I've had experiences where I was so divinely connected, where I was just in presence and flow. Like I had my first kayak experience. I had a friend take me out on a kayak, and I just felt like literally like I was one with the water. So this is like my first experience of like this oneness, and like, a lot of athletes talk about being in this flow state where you just feel like one with something, you just know what to do. It was like I had never been in this kayak before, and the water was turbulent. It was like after rain on the river, and I literally just felt like I knew exactly what to do. I was just so connected. And then I've been in these, beautiful states of love and peace and harmony and joy. I've had beautiful heart and soul connections with beautiful souls that I've met who are also so, connected to their souls and have this awareness, which is beautiful. And I've shared in these beautiful, connections, which I'm grateful for. So my experiences and, things that I've seen and been brought to my awareness this has been more awakened within myself, which is beautiful, because as more people awaken, as they're sharing these beautiful messages, and it allows us to awaken more in you and start to realize your own true essence and who we are, right? Of who we are and what's possible.
Well, you're definitely got something there, but sometimes when you connect with some people are probably not ready to even accept, even with love with them themselves, and they're gonna say, this girl is crazy. This girl's nuts, or you're a kook, right? They're gonna say,
Yeah.
what are you talking about? Love, love. Like there's a lot of people like that. There's a lot of negative people like that. To me, I would say I'm open to any suggestion, because when someone is searching for love or finding a greater power, and love is within inside, and spirituality is within inside. If you're spiritual as well as you're faithful to a higher being or God, to me it is God, but God is love and love is God, so it's the same, right? But
Yeah.
with other people, when they hear that consistently, they're like, "This goes nuts." Do you understand? When that say, "Okay, no, I'm not," but they'll say, "Okay, well, will I be ready to accept all this love from you, or it's just too much love going on?" Like, what would you?
Well, okay. Think about how you want to experience life, right? Who does
Right,
not want to feel this sense of love,
right.
right? Who does not want to feel like
Oh, absolutely.
and experience this in their life, whether it be feel this within themselves, feel this in their relationships, feel this for life and for what they're bringing forward, and for the work that they're doing. Like, how do
Mhm.
you want to experience life? Who doesn't want to feel this greater sense of love and connection in their life? And how,
Absolutely.
yeah, and not only that, but for people who are going through difficult times, is to realize that they don't need to. So they don't, as this is awakened within them, they start to realize that they don't need to rely on medication. They can heal naturally. They can start to
Right.
feel better and, more in alignment and this greater sense of love within themselves. And these things are starting to be awakened and start to realize, right? So you can't deny that. And as you awaken to this and you start to open to this, you start to feel this more and experience this more in your life, which is truly beautiful, and the miracle of love, right?
Right, right. Well, I'm not definitely not criticizing you, Samantha, because whatever worked for you, and you're going to this path, and your tunnel vision to the right connection with your spirit and your love. I said a hats off to that, but there's a lot of people out there that's not ready for that, and they're going to think, okay, I'm not ready for that. Either she's crazy or I'm crazy, or what is going
Well,
on here? Am I ready to accept all this love going on here, or there's just now no love in their spirit, and it's not ready to, or maybe they're just not at all. You can't break
it's
somebody who's not ready for it.
well, here's the thing. A lot of times it'll speak to someone's heart or soul.
Right.
So they'll feel drawn to it because maybe there's something within them that doesn't feel this. So they might feel disconnected in some way or feel lack of something within them, or,
Yeah.
whatever that feeling might be, they might feel drawn to this because their inner knowing knows this and feels this. Like,
Right.
there's certain people that you see or certain things that just speak to your heart and soul. And when people experience this,
Yeah.
it opens them up to realize what what they haven't been connected to and how beautiful this connection is.
Right. Is also a lot of people with addiction need that love. Do
Yeah.
you have a lot of clients that were addicted and now they're not, or how did they manage to get out of it, or can you get them out of it?
Okay, so I've seen this with people, and there's a few people that I've interviewed. One gentleman who on my Heart Awakening page,
Okay.
where he was struggling with addiction for 23 years, like fentanyl and
Wow.
all kinds of drugs, like really bad, right? He was really addicted for 23 years, was dealing drugs,
Wow.
and right before COVID, he literally was in jail, and he was drawn to this book. He read this book, and he had this heart awakening in jail, right? So he had this shift, and then he went through this kind of review of his past,
Right.
starting to see things in a new light, similar to what I had gone through with my awakening.
Mhm.
And he had this huge shift within him in terms of his heart awakening. And then he started to help people in jail. And then he came out. He's like, okay, I'm no longer doing drugs.
Right.
So he came out. Someone handed him drugs to start dealing again, to get him back, on the street. And he's like, no, I'm done. And the guy couldn't believe it. And he's like, that's it. And then all of a sudden, he started to build his life back again. And he's now written 6 children's books that he's sent in to publish, writing a book, started a podcast, wanting to go speak to children. Like, he's doing all of this beautiful, bringing forward all this beautiful stuff. And he's so realized his connection, his divine connection, within himself and what he's capable of now. Like, that was an extreme transformation. And it was so interesting because he looks at it like, he doesn't hold any bad from his past, but there was a lot of emotional stuff that he had been holding on to.
Right.
Because his family didn't connect with him on that level. So he like buried all these feelings that he had, right? And he didn't feel this sense of knowing who he was or connection in that way. He said, I love my parents and they raised me and they gave me all this stuff, but I didn't have that connection of love in that way, emotional, like to open me up and to express, right? So there's this greater love evolution taking place and this awakening happening, and it's beautiful to see. So he was one. There was another guy that I have that he talks about this as well. I'm friends with him, and he's gone through his spiritual journey, and he actually was in a band, addicted to drugs, porn, sex, with all these girls. And so he was living that lifestyle, and now he's completely clean, helping others get clean, and has this great love that he's sharing and so connected, he very spiritual as well, but like he just had this awakening and literally cleaned himself up. And now he's sharing love and feeling this love and connected to love and sharing this with others. And it's beautiful to see. So that was two. And then obviously, for me, with helping people with food, that was an addiction for people, right? Mm-hmm. Some people have issues with food, right? So that's another form of addiction. I've helped people, alcohol's another one for some people, right? So yeah, there's just so many different forms, but yeah, this definitely helps with that, right? Because what are you trying to mask, right? A lot of people eat to mask what they're feeling, or are on drugs to mask what they're feeling, or they're looking for an escape to feel better. Let me get that hit of dopamine or that endorphin, or they're looking for a different feeling through whether it be smoking or different ways, right? Different addictions, and it can come in different forms. But when you reconnect to yourself, you feel this greater sense within you. You don't need that external hit, like escape or to feel better. I need this to feel better. This makes me feel better, right? It changes my state or how I'm feeling from within. Right. So they look externally for that, right? But when you feel that within yourself, like that in itself helps you to feel alive and feel this greater connection and greater love for life, right?
Right. Usually happens when who's a drug addict or alcoholic or whatever they're addicted to. Usually when rock bottom hits, it's either dead or you just pick yourself back up, but it's a slow climb. And I've had like I said, I like with the last podcast I did with you, I had lots of friends, plenty of my good solid friends that passed away to addiction, and it started, and it dawned on me how something's got to change, and that's the last thing I want to be is end up in that road. So what made me change as well is because I had a lot of addictive behaviors as well. I am no angel whatsoever, but I did my share too. But I always knew I was a good person. But you hang around with the right crowd, you get involved with the stupid things, right? You just do stupid things, right? So, and with that, finding my spirituality and my goal was back to my faith, and that gave me that great connection. That's like, hey, boom, I'm ready to tackle the world. But now I understand, because God is love, and love is God, and it's how you portray it and how you go about it. And I can see the strength in you when you talk about love a lot, and it's really good. It's very rewarding, and it's also good that I have this connection with you with that, because it all connects together. And everybody's searching for whatever they're searching, and you're searching for that greater love or that purpose and meaning in your life. Do you think this is the purpose or meaning in your life right now, is to reach out to others?
When you feel this greater sense of love, it's like you want to share it. It's like, I feel this within myself. I've awakened to this. I feel so much more connected, and I want to share it with others.
Right.
And that fuels it, because you start to realize that you can share this love and help others to feel the same thing. And that in itself is even feeding you with more love. And it's this flow of love that's taking place, right? And this awakening that's taking place, right, which is beautiful to feel and experience and share, right? Like, I'll give you an example. The girl that I helped that was like over 300 pounds, she lost the weight. She awakened this greater love. She had a lot of anger and emotional stuff that she was carrying, right? And now she doesn't struggle with weight. She's like 140 pounds. She's lost all this weight, and now she's helping others. So there's a girl that she's helping now, and she wants to share with her, and she's so excited to share the love that she now feels with others. So it's just like, as this awakens within you, you're happy to share it and bring this forward into the world, because you start to realize the ripple effect this not only has in your life,
Right.
those around you, but those that you touch and that you share that message with, right? Because you don't want to see, like, you see these things happening in the world, like whether it be people dying of suicide or addictions, which is so awful to hear.
That's horrible, yeah.
And that's why this awakening is so beautiful, when we awaken this and feel this and we can share this with others, and the impact this can have, right, on other people's lives is amazing, because you don't want to hear it of people struggling and having to go through these difficulties, right? You want to have them awaken to the beauty of life and love. So I think, even the shooting that happened with that 18-year-old boy and all those kids, like, that was a young boy, 18, crying out for help. You know what I mean? Like, he was wanting to feel loved and seen and heard, and that was his cry. So it's unfortunate to see this happening in the world.
Yeah.
And what's being brought forward now with this awakening, right? And I work on, projects in Africa. So you're seeing people creating loving solutions in the world, whether that be through sustainable projects, better ways of living for people who can't afford housing, different ways of living, like alternative living, permaculture, which is like more harmonious with the earth. So it's more harmonious with like nature and the animals and with the earth, without leaching the soil of nutrients. So all this stuff is being brought forward now. So as you awaken to this, you start to see these solutions being brought forward, these better ways of living and being and experiencing life. And it's like, as we start to see this, as we awaken to this, it's like literally we can experience heaven on earth. And that's what we're starting to realize and what's being created. So, whether that be with how you feel within yourself, these states, right? And also what you bring forward as you touch others, or, you plant a seed that creates change that's going to have a evolution and ripple effect out into the world, right?
How did you, with your steps, how did you go from, with helping people in Africa and stuff? How did that go into your life? You just met somebody.
So when I had this spiritual awakening, when I had the spiritual awakening, I knew I wanted to give back. So I started sponsoring 2 kids. So
Right.
Sponsoring children from Africa. Then I had this lady reach out to me, and she had 44 orphan children. She was on the streets, and she couldn't pay her rent. So we did projects to help build an orphanage for her, so she didn't have to pay rent. We did land for her, so she had food growing for her children. We did bathrooms for them, so they were sustainable. So she had like ulcers from the stress from having to take care of all these children and not knowing what she was going to do.
Right.
From there, I started to realize, because we did a few projects, like built some orphanages, did some garden projects, built some bathrooms. I started to realize a big trend there was food, right? And people struggling with food. So I said, okay, what are the solutions? So I was drawn to researching agriculture and these new ways of doing agriculture right now that's being brought forward. So we started to grow gardens. So now we're creating my projects are Love and Unity projects, so Helping Hands Love and Unity projects.
Mm-hmm.
And so right now we're working with a school with 150 kids, and these kids were going to school hungry. So they would go a day or 2 days without being fed. Can you imagine that, going to school trying to learn without food? In this world, like, there's enough food in the world that could feed every person. So it's crazy to me, especially when seeds cost like $3 to plant a seed. Right. So for children to be hungry in this world today, to me, it's crazy. Right. So I started to see like what's possible. What can we do? Right. Let's bring forward solutions. Let's bring forward this love into the world. Right. So with the school, they have 30 trees planted. They have a passion fruit garden started. We just bought a water tank for them so that they can water and have water to drink, so they don't have to walk to get water. So we're providing these loving solutions, and that's beautiful to see and be part of. And not only that, but the parents are being involved now. So this is where the unity is coming in. So through our intent, we have to realize like what our focus and our intention can do in the world, right? Through our energy of love and what our focus and intention can do, whether that be in our families, within our lives, what we're bringing forward into the world, like we are creating. Right. And our focus has a great impact. Like you're creating this podcast right now, right? What is your focus with the podcast and what you're sharing, right? And the message that you want to share, right? Yeah, so we can do that. And that's what people need to realize is what we can create through what we're sharing. Right. So these projects was big way to realize, like, the one thing that I saw was with the projects is with love and unity is now the parents are being involved, right? So with love and unity, it's uniting. So it's, creating this community, right? So you see the parents getting involved, they're learning, they're planting the seeds, and this planting of seeds will forever touch those children's lives because they'll never have to worry about food again. They can literally go outside, pick a fruit from the tree. And, so what was interesting was the guy that I told you about who was an addict for like 25 years, he was homeless. And he said that he used to look for fruit trees to eat for food because he had no food, right? So listening to his story, it sparked in me, like, imagine we started planting trees for these kids, like, so that there's food growing all the time. Nature provides, like, this beautiful food for us. And it's just a matter of planting seeds, right?
Yeah.
And to realize what's possible. So we started to do this and to realize now the ripple effect that will have not only for those children, but future children that go to the school, right? But when I did the interview with him, I'm like, thank you so much. You don't even realize what you sharing your story about the fruit trees did for now. I'm planting a bunch of fruit trees in Africa to help with, food solutions there and gardens of love. And you should see the before and after of these gardens. Like literally, like I've never seen such full, beautiful gardens. Like they have fenced off areas that are full of food now from no food. Oh, wow. So even if they don't have land, we do them in sacks. So they literally are growing out of sacks. One family we showed how to do this to, and we did 2 big sacks like we normally do, and she started doing her own little sacks and started planting her own. So now this little area outside of her house is full of vegetables growing right from nothing.
Well, that's very interesting, and that's very great that you're doing that. I actually have a couple of friends. A friend of mine he's going to school right now, and he's planning to go to Africa for a project, and he's doing, because his father does what do you call those guys? Missionary work, right?
Okay, yeah.
And he's, I guess he's kind of, I went with him to film school. We had to film school together, and then he's taken this route now, and and I said, wow, kind of click in. And since you're doing a project like that, if he goes there, because he's told me, I think in about a year from now, he's got to go to Africa for, I don't know, sabbatical, a year to 2 years to see what's going on, because he's taken that road as his dad doing missionary work, which I recommend because it takes a lot of work. And like I said, I went and did Haiti. I went to all the third world countries there, and it is tragic. And I experienced that myself.
Wow.
And to see those kids with no clothing, no food is heart-wrenching. And it changed my mind too, spiritually, mentally, physically. And it altered the whole being of myself when I went there. But if he goes there, and if you do go there, it could be, so you'll understand, like, I'll lead him to your way so that he'll understand what you're going through, because I think that what it is that you're helping people in Africa, and he's on his way to his journey to Africa as well too. And I know
That's
a couple
amazing.
other people that went to Africa, and I was like, wow, so now you're like really putting a lot of emphasis in helping the poor, and I do recommend. I do.
But you know what? The way I see it too is to help them see what's possible, because they're, though, like we planted 2 sacks for them to show them, like this one family. We showed them how to do the 2 sacks. She started planting.
Ooh. Okay, we lost connection here. Hold on a second. There we go. You in, Samantha?
Hi, sorry, my phone died. I thought I had it on charger, but it wasn't charging.
Okay, no problem. I got you back. We're back in again, right? So we're good. All right. Yeah. See, I'm make sure I'm recording this. I don't want to make sure this is really good what we're doing right now. Okay, let's go back to where we left off. You're going about the.
Yeah. So just to show them what's possible. So we showed them how to do 2 sacks, and now that she was doing her own sacks, right? Because a lot of times they need to realize too what they're able to do and what's possible, right? Like when we start to awaken to greater solution, right? And, it's beautiful that we can be part of these change and bring this love forward and be part of joining them and creating this beautiful evolution of love, right? And create this change there. And the ripple effect that this is going to have there, like, is profound, and it's amazing to be part of this. Right. But to help them to see too what they're capable of, right? And what we're connected to, these greater solutions and greater ways of seeing and how divine this is. So I'm grateful to be part of these projects and to see what, these transformations and these solutions, these loving solutions.
Right. How long have you been doing that?
Since COVID started. So it's been like 2 years. So we built a bunch of orphanages and bathrooms, and we did livestock projects with chickens, and now we're doing gardens and trees and water solutions.
Wow. Do you see yourself actively in the future doing that more, or?
Yeah, like definitely. It's beautiful to see, like, the love that we can bring forward into the world.
Right.
And to awaken to this, the ability to, it doesn't take much to make a difference. And it just takes, this loving energy put into it, and the shifts that can occur, and the lives you can touch and uplift, and this rising of love and this evolution of love and creating heaven on earth through these projects. Like literally it's beautiful to see in the before and afters. Like, right. You're literally like, we're not looking at the problem and saying, okay, this is the problem, and like, I can't do anything. It's like, no, the $3 or $10 seed that you're planting is making a profound difference in these children's lives, in these families' lives, and forever, for future generations. Like, this is the evolution that's taking place right now.
Well, so did you think that like within yourself, did you find it with yourself that, okay, I'm gonna help this lady and this project, or did you feel like, okay, or did you want to do it? And how did that work with involved? Because it's like you're sponsoring kids, right? Yeah. But do you feel like it's kind of like your part, so
I went from wanting to sponsor to wanting to show them sustainable solutions.
Okay.
Right. So I was more drawn to, okay, what is the solution? Right. I don't want them to rely on, for me, like donations, but I wanted them, like, in terms of, they need donations every month to eat. Right. It's like, no, how do we find the solution so that they can have food growing outside their house and they can plant food and pick food from their gardens?
Right.
What are the solutions? Because you don't want to, like, I didn't want them to feel like they were dependent on me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I wanted them to feel like this is the solution. How do we provide these solutions, these loving solutions?
Yeah. How do you provide them to eat every day without you always being the bank?
So I don't send money for food, like in that way. I do projects. So, not to say that, people who are sending money aren't helping, but it's about realizing how do we create the solutions? Do you know what I mean? So for us, it's about, let's plant gardens, let's plant trees, let's plant food, right? The thing is too, how do we find income solutions for them? Like, to realize, like, what they can start to, like, ways for them to start to create income, right, and to live, because their healthcare is not free. Schooling is not free, right? So then they're not making, like, the money that they make is very minimal, right? So this makes a profound difference when they don't have to worry about food and you can grow food, right?
Right.
So finding solutions I'm seeing a lot of people there creating this right now. So there's a lot of water tanks being done, garden projects being done, livestock projects with goats and chickens, and there's different beautiful projects that are being done right now to create these solutions.
Did you help create that, or were you a part of the creation of that?
Well, definitely I'm part of
creating
helping with this, but as I had this, the thing is, people don't have to realize, like, when we start to see more from solution rather than the problem, right? Then the things come into our awareness to help us see the solution. So as I started to think, okay, how do I create this? Like, what is the solution to this? Rather than, focusing on what the problem is, like, what is the solution? Then literally I had things come to my awareness. Like, all of a sudden, this agriculture, sustainable farming, sustainable projects started to come into my awareness. I started researching it and I started to understand more what was possible, right? And what was the solutions that we can help create.
So your answer was finding the solution to help.
Yeah, sustainable.
Those,
Help them to become sustainable, right? Yeah.
which is
And help
really
them
good.
to realize what's possible within themselves, right? Because some of them are so like they feel maybe like helpless or,
Right.
that, but it's about realizing, what we're connected to and how divinely connected we are. So when we bring this love into what we're doing, it's like things align for us. Literally, things will start to align and flow, and it's beautiful to watch this happen. Right? Yeah.
So, okay. Well, you know what? That you just adding really good answers right now, because there's like I said, like there's a lot of people out there that they're helping, but they're not helping with solutions. They're just helping with the money. They're basically like banks. And then that's when this is how it became very corrupt when I was involved with the whole Haiti thing.
Yeah.
Very corrupt. It became like, I need this, I need that, I need this, and this, that. It's like, whoa, it's like
Okay.
that's when you have to draw the line, because these people don't have money. And when you have money and you're helping out people, they kind of like, okay, look what I found. I found my sugar daddy, blah, blah, blah. I'm always going to get this, get that. That's when it gets really difficult. You know what I mean?
I understand what you're saying because I experienced it myself. So I had a lot of people reaching out to me asking me for money, and I said, "Listen, I don't send money. I work on projects." Right. And for me, it was about seeing, okay, I understand why. Like there were so many people who would see them and be like, they're in a difficult situation. Let's give them money. So some people saw that as an opportunity.
Right.
And we're using it as an opportunity. Right. But it's about to instill in them what's possible for them.
Right.
So the people that I work with, I work with humanitarians there. So I know the projects that we're doing.
Good,
and it's to help them to see what we're capable of doing. So are you. Right. And it's not about me. It's about coming together in love and unity and creating, projects of love. But for some people, it's realizing, I'm not just here providing for you, but it's about realizing what you're capable of as well. Right. And where's the solution? So there's like one orphanage that I see, like she's like, I want to land so that I can grow food.
Right.
So she's raising for the land for food for 30 or 40 orphans, which I understand, but they're coming up with solutions. Right. How to be sustainable. But even so, we can connect to ways of doing this, whether it be through creative ways of generating income. Like the thing is, we're so divinely connected. We have to realize what's possible and what we can do and what we can share and what we can create and what we're aligned to and people that we're aligned to create these solutions, right? Through love.
Right. You got a grasp on that. And it's good, but I see that more deeper things than that, because when I was involved with it, you have to be involved with the government, and the government restricts them from them to progress, and that's where it became really shady in that area. And helping the needy, and especially a friend of mine as well too, and they took advantage of that as well. So it became really shady in that way, because the government, especially in Haiti, it's very bad there. The gangs get involved, the government's involved, everybody wants this, everybody wants that, and it became really scary. So then I walked out, boom, and then my buddy walked out too.
Wow.
And it was very scary, because it was either your life, because you want to help.
Yeah.
And it's like, and they're taking advantage of it. So it's like, you know what? You did the best that you can do.
Yeah.
You're on your own, because when they start taking advantage of you, that's when I say, woo. And I hope my buddy also realized that as well too. And it became more shady and scary, instead of being happy and helping people. And it's like, whoa. So I just hope you didn't, now that you're involved with an organization who's legit, that is a good thing too, because you're helping and you're giving solutions to feed them, instead of just giving this a hands out and this and that too. So
yeah, I had to learn that as well, because obviously, again, they've had so many people there that have come there to, provide money and income, right? And some people look at that as an opportunity, right? But it's understanding, the frame of mind that they've been in and what the conditions that they lived in. So I have love and compassion for
Right.
For the experiences that they've had, but it's also to see them with love and to realize, okay, I'm not here. For me, it's not providing, a dependency on me, right. But we're here to help you see what you're capable of as well, and the solutions that can come from that. As like I work with humanitarians to work on the project, so sustainable solutions.
Right.
Yeah, but I have someone there that that's there manning the project, so I know who everything that's going on there, and right. We have updates, photo updates, video calls. I spoke with the principal. They're sending me updates of everything. We share these updates with the people that are involved. So yes, it's about working with an organization that is making a difference and that is actually working on these projects, right? Rather than just anyone who's like asking for money, because you don't know unless you're there and to see it, right? So yeah, I'm lucky enough to have met and have aligned, like beautiful alignment of humanitarians there who are managing the projects for me.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So do you how do you feel about that? Are you content with that? Is like having that, does that help feed your energy and your love as well too, that do you feel like a calling for that, or how do you feel about that?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I'm grateful to be part of these projects. Like, again, like, okay, so you planting a tree will forever change not only that family's life, but future generations, right? Like, it's making a profound difference there. So for me, it's not just about, like I said, providing food, but like, what are the solutions? So, we've done projects with chicken coops and water tanks and water solutions. So these things are being brought forward right now. And it's, like I said, beautiful to be a part of, right? Planting seeds into the earth. Like, some of them are so barren, like you go there and it's just dirt. Yeah. So now you're planting trees and vegetables and it's so green. Like, you're literally creating an impact, like a massive impact there. So it's truly beautiful to see.
Wow.
Yeah,
I would love to see some pictures of it and stuff like that too.
I do. I have them on my page.
Yeah.
With before and afters, and yeah. And
okay, I'll have to go on your page and check it out as well too. Also, I also want to see some pics of you in the bodybuilding thing too. I want to see some of that as well.
Yeah.
If you have any and stuff like that,
I do.
Yeah, you do. Okay.
Yeah.
Would you want to share with me, or send it to me on the email so I can take a look at it, would you mind putting on it on the podcast, or to see your progression, or
totally fine. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you're okay with that? Like, you're content? Like, you're like you already, that's already your past now, and now you're just moving on to a different direction. And
absolutely, right? Yeah, that's definitely not my interest anymore. And obviously I'm not interested in competing. Like, for me, it's not about competition. I see more from love now.
Yeah.
So I see more of community and connection, and bringing this love forward into the world, and how beautiful this is. So yeah, definitely a different place where I am right now, and this evolution that's occurred within me, and this awakening within me, which is amazing. But that was a big part of my journey. And, I share it because there are, other people who might be going through the same thing, who might be experiencing the same thing. So if, to help them to realize, like, the realizations within myself that, really made a difference within my life, right? And how we experience life, and our intention. So, like, like I said, like, this brought me closer to family. This brought me closer to connection and to life and to myself. So I'm grateful for that.
So you're really up to date with that, making sure that everybody's they're progressing. And
absolutely, we follow up. We do calls. I had a call with a few of the humanitarians there, and the principal herself, and they were sending me photos of all the parents getting involved and prepping the soil and working together with the kids, and teaching the kids how to grow food. Right. Imagine these kids who went without food, teaching them how to plant a seed and grow food and see this tree grow and be able to pick the food from the tree. Like, it's amazing.
Do you see yourself more heavily into as a humanitarian as well too, or how do you see yourself in really being
Like
that.
I have this love for humanity and love for people. And, like I said, we're all divinely connected. We're all, from God, we're all creators and creating our, reality. And that's what people don't realize is, what our focus in makes a difference. Where we're putting our energy, where we're putting our focus. Right. Yeah.
Okay. Well, you're definitely interesting, and you're definitely have the love for that. And for me, you got a good soul, and you're helping people. That's all. That's what counts as well too. And your spirituality and your belief is really catching, and you're helping people. It's good. That's a good thing.
Yeah, we each matter. And that's this
Yeah.
awakening is to realize, we each matter. We all make a difference, right? Because each of us impact the people around us, like the people that you're connected to, right? And how we share this love, right? And when we realize how divinely connected we are, we realize how infinite this love is and how much we're able to do and share. And so that's beautiful, and the impact that we can have.
Okay, yeah, I think we talked about your family. Anyway, you're more in tune. You're connected with your family now because of that, right?
Yeah,
Have you seen a big change in you in that?
honestly, it's beautiful because we sharing and creating these beautiful moments together. So my family is really into games, so we come together, we play games.
Okay.
We've had like games tournaments. We've gone to like cottages together, or we'll go to like cabins, and we'll have these games tournaments. And so we have these moments that we create together and share together, and it's beautiful. And I'm grateful to be closer, because I was living in Windsor before, so it was 3 hours away. So now I'm closer to family, and I get to, see my little nephew growing up and be part of his life more, and sharing these beautiful moments with, even my cousins and aunts and uncles and parents, and we all come together and do these beautiful things together, which is really beautiful.
What do they see in you, and did they see the big difference with you from back then, the competitive side of you, and now?
Yeah, they've definitely seen my heart like open up even more. Definitely, I have this greater love. It's definitely expanded in terms of how I'm helping and how I'm giving back, and the love that I'm sharing.
What do they think about that? Like, because they're Catholics too, right?
Yes, we were all
Roman Catholic, right?
Catholic. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But to see that, do they see the difference in you, and how you know what I mean? Like, how do they think of that? Like, you changing?
They don't really see. I don't know if they see me, like I said, like open up more in terms of the love that I'm sharing.
Right.
And like for us, we're more connected. Like I'm closer with them now than I've been. So I'm really grateful for that. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome, Samantha. We are like, I have nothing but great admiration with you, and it's great connecting with you. And this part 2 has been really, really good.
No, I'm grateful for you too, and for your podcast and you sharing these beautiful messages, and for everything that you're bringing forward into the world. So thank you, because you are a beautiful soul also, and I can definitely feel that and see that in you. So thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. You know what? We'll definitely reconnect and do another one for sure. And but don't forget to share the pictures or videos.
Yeah, I'll send you for sure.
Yeah, and then we'll connect that way as well too. And I'm gonna try to get the people that I know who have a little bit of a problem that to go steer your way if you have time as well.
I'd be happy to help.
Yeah, if you because you're definitely got something going that's really good love in you.
Yeah,
that can be very addictive to people that definitely need that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. I have to help for sure.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. It's sad to see when people are struggling. So if they can awaken this greater love within themselves and feel this within themselves, and this greater connection, right, to themselves, to their relationships, to life.
Absolutely. You're definitely a good soul. So I appreciate this part 2 on the podcast, and we'll definitely have another one, part 3 soon. How about that?
Okay, sounds wonderful. I'm grateful. Thank you so much.
Well, you have a great night, and we'll connect soon. And don't forget to send me some of those pics. I want to see.
I will. So much love.
You too.
Okay, take care.
Okay, take care. Have a good one.
Bye.
Goodbye.